Hello everyone, it's AJ. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another movie review, another Child's Play film. This time we're going to be talking about Curse of Chucky. Let's get into this. Okay, so Curse of Chucky is the 6th film in the Child's Play franchise of movies. Yes, now this film came out in 2013 here in the UK. We got it on October the 21st. I was going to say 31st then. 21st of 2013. Now the film was rated 18. It was a sort of direct to Blu-ray movie or direct to streaming service like Netflix, that sort of thing. It didn't have a theatrical run. It's again written by and directed by Don Mancini. As you know, if you've watched my other videos, he is the architect of Child's Play. He's the guy who first wrote Child's Play, and he's the one who's continued with it and made a career out of writing pretty much Child's Play and nothing else. So yeah, so interestingly, this is the longest running thus far, at 1 hour and 37 minutes. The others all fall below that 90-minute mark. The budget for this film was $5 million. Small, very small. But yeah, the film obviously sees the return of Brad Dourif as Charles Lee Ray, Chucky. Fiona Dourif, who's actually Brad Dourif's real-life daughter, nothing like nepotism, is the main star of the film, a character called Nika, who is wheelchair-bound and has been the entire of her life. Obviously there's other casts, individuals within the film, no one I really know. Jennifer Tilly pops up again, and the film does have an appearance by the original Andy Barclay, Alex Vincent, yes, in a cameo appearance in the film's finale, after credits scene. But yeah, so let's get into the story of this film, and then I'll talk about my thoughts on the film. So yeah, so the film is sort of all set within the confines of one house, right? Now you got this character of Nika who's wheelchair bound, living with her mother. Her mother receives a package, that package being the Chucky doll. Chucky subsequently kills the mother off screen, and then the rest of her family comes around to for the funeral arrangements and all this sort of thing, including a priest. Now, so there's about half a dozen people within the house, including a little girl who gets, she likes the Chucky doll. She takes the Chucky doll, you know, like a child does. Okay, so as the story continues, you obviously Chucky comes about and starts doing what he does best, killing people. As the story progresses, you do find out why Chucky's at this house, because going into it, after especially so close to watching the old Child's Play films, I had questions. Couldn't remember this film. I remember quite enjoying it, but I couldn't remember it. But I had questions as to, well, how did Chucky get here? Because of the connective tissue in the other films, it kind of felt lacking in this one. Chucky's all clean looking. He's not like he was in the past films, or latter past films, where he's all scarred up and sewn back together and all this sort of thing. But like I said, as the narrative continues in the film, you come to realise that Chucky's actually made over and plastic's peeled off, and he is actually scarred up underneath. So there is but this reveal doesn't come until later on. So the film starts with you asking questions if you're very familiar with the others, but subsequently these questions are answered within time within the film. Yeah, so in that sense, pretty good. I won't go beat for beat for the story or how it finishes, this sort of thing. But that is relevant to the next review for the next film, so that'll come out in that. So yeah, so Chucky's at the house. He obviously he's got a history with this family that comes about. You find that out as the film continues, and it goes back to sort of the origins of Charles Lee Ray, the origins of why he's being chased and when he's being chased by the police in that first Child's Play film. The woman who was the mother in this household, she's the one who bubbled him up to the old bill, to the police, and subsequently why the police were chasing him. Yeah, and he's the reason why this girl's wheelchair bound, because he'd stabbed the mother in the stomach while she was heavily pregnant, thus stabbing the baby, who's this Nika, Fiona Dourif, and leaving her paralysed from the waist down. Yeah, so that's it, my thoughts on the film. Like I said, this is the cheapest of the Chucky films, as in, you know, lowest budget. And because it's straight to DVD fare, so to speak. So, the film is visually very much like early 80s horror films. It's in a house that's not very well lit, very dark, and very sort of drab looking, like horror films do. The house itself is a sort of lovely aesthetic for a horror film, with this magnificent lift shaft in the middle, you know, metallic grated sort of lift shaft, and this sort of thing. So it works for the film. Like I said, as I went into the story, being fresh off the back of the others, there was plenty of questions that I had, and things weren't really making sense. And I was like, okay, this feels like sort of like, almost like a reset button, but ignoring a lot of what's gone before. But that connectivity does come into play as the story progresses. So that was great to see. The acting within the film is okay. You know, Fiona Dourif was fine as the main character. Brad Dourif always shines as the voice of Chucky, and he does get some screen time in this film as well, in sort of like flashback scenes. So yeah, all in all, a pretty good entry into the franchise. It had to try harder because of the budget restraints, and so it sort of goes back to sort of its horror roots and away from the comedy that the last couple of films gave you. Yeah, it's an enjoyable ride, an enjoyable film, and yeah, very good. So that's my thoughts on this film, really. I'll be doing a ranking. That's why I'm not really telling you how it compares to other ones, because I will be doing a ranking for these films, and that likely will drop on Monday coming. If you're interested, I have also reviewed the very first episode of the Chucky TV series. You can go and watch that. And yeah, hit the notification bell. Why not? It's free. It doesn't not cost you nothing. I don't want nothing from you, apart from that little bit of time, just to maybe watch some videos that you're interested in. Like and share the video. Leave me a comment. I do reply to all comments. Yeah, and come and join me on Facebook if you so wish. AJ's Movie Place, the same name as this channel. Yeah, anyway, this is AJ, and I'm getting going, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye. Star of the film, a character called Nika, who's who is